Because when we talk about the action plan for a new broker, and this is important because a lot of times, yes, they pass the background check, they do the 5-part training. Now what's the plan, for a new broker? And I always say it's important to get off to a fast start. Fast start training is important, but the key is you got to learn the business. You got to learn the business opportunities, the companies that we represent. You have to know the business inside out to be able to ask or answer any question that comes your way. So there is a learning curve, and you have to go through that. Having some business knowledge is always helpful. I don't think it's really as vitally important as the content, knowing the business, but having a little bit of business knowledge is important on how business works, right? The sales process. I mean, you got to buy into the sales process because, sure enough, I made a mistake. Well, I always make mistakes, but, this past month, I had a couple prospects that were going my way, that were, were just giving me the buying signals. So what did I do? I bypassed the whole validation, speaking to licensees, speaking and meeting the CEO of the company, and I thought they were a slam dunk. Lo and behold, both of those deals did not go through. I tried streamlining, I tried shortcutting the sales process. I'm telling you right now, it doesn't work that way. Even when somebody seems anxious, I have to slow down and take them through that sales process. Sometimes when someone's too anxious, to me, that's a red flag. And I went against my instincts here with these two prospects. And one's still a possibility. One I'm still working with, still talking to, but it was like, send me the contract. I'm ready to go, to stalling. So it's, you're always looking to get better. We're a company, a self-improvement company with a compensation plan attached. I say team members, you rely on your team members, and really use the team members to help your business, to communicate, collaborate, spend time, know what's going on. I always say there's power in numbers. So you're not a one-person show. We're in this together. So lean on your team members and work with a mentor, someone that you like what they have, someone that has walked the path before you, someone that has the experience that you may not have. That's really working with a mentor, someone that can give you the guidance, someone that you can train with, and I always say it's about role playing. I love role playing. I think that's very important, because when you're role playing to a peer, they may hear something that you don't. I always like recording myself too periodically, because sometimes I pick up bad habits in what I talk. But working with a mentor, somebody that can get you through that uncomfortableness and fix and refine, right? Posting ads, as a broker, that's what you want to do. Now, does all this other stuff have to come together before you start posting ads? My suggestion is that's the first thing you really want to do, is start posting ads. That's going to force your hand to want to really learn the business, to know the sales process, to be able to take somebody through. When the lead happens, when you get a lead, then it's like, oh boy, now I got to get my ducks in a row. So it kind of forces the broker to take action, to have all these other things come into play. And if you're a team builder, and not everybody is, but you can start building a team. As a broker, remember, when you recruit a broker, there's a recruiting bonus, a 5% recruiting bonus that you receive from that broker. So even if you're at a 20% contract and the broker that you recruit comes in and starts writing a ton of business and they're making 20%, well, lo and behold, you're going to get 5%, a recruiter bonus. If this person comes in as an agency, a broker agency, someone that wants to be a team builder, guess what? You still get that 5% override on all personal production from that.
And the upfront commission for selling an agency.
Of course, the upfront. Absolutely. And you got to realize that the CV isn't 50%. It's 100%. So you bring somebody in, you're getting paid a nice chunk of change recruiting an agency. So if people don't know about it, it's not going to happen. But that's, as a broker, this is a good action plan. This is a good starting point. And I always say practice, practice, practice. We're never at a point where we're perfect. You know, practice makes progress. You know, practice doesn't make perfection. It's not what we're going for here. We just want progress. So when you have that action plan, I always say it's good to track the progress, you know, what you're doing, the actions that you're doing, you know, I say are the metrics that, you know, those are the plugins that really will give you an idea where you are. Tracking progress. If you're not tracking progress, to know, okay, where the leads are coming from, how many of those people leads coming in are you actually communicating with, having a full presentation, getting out a proposal, getting out a close. I mean, this is important. I always say, you know, nowadays, you know, not everybody answers their phone, right? A lot of times it goes to voicemail. Why is that? Oh my goodness gracious. How many spam calls can you get in a week? I mean, it's so when you call somebody, they don't recognize the number. Chances are good they're going to let it go to voicemail. They think it's spam. I follow every call up with a text to identify who I am and the purpose of the call, and then the take action. When can we meet? When's the best time to get together to discuss the business? It goes hand in hand. If you're just making calls, you're losing prospects by not texting. Most people respond to text more than a phone call. It's kind of preemptive. So I say those go hand in hand. You know, metrics, how many contacts are you making? How many full presentations? You know, having a contact with somebody, they answer the phone, you talk to them. Did you have a chance to get your full presentation in? Did you get their interest? Did you get the 3 M's, right? The motivation, the mindset, the money. If you got the 3 M's, that's a full presentation. And then of course, it's the next step. You know, what's the next step? Well, at some point they're going to get a proposal. How much is it? You know, how much can I make? How much can I lose? Proposals, you want to track that progress. How many presentations are actually turning into proposals? How many of those proposals are turning into Zoom meetings? Right at the top of the hour, we have a Zoom meeting with a prospect that's going our way. That's an important, you know, metric. It's track that progress. If somebody's willing to meet you on Zoom, which pretty much everybody knows Zoom nowadays. I mean, there was a time we were using Zoom. Nobody knew what the heck that meant. Now, you know, if they don't know what a Zoom meeting is, boy, you know, they might be living under a rock. But most people know Zoom meeting is just a chance to meet face to face. Now, do I always get the owner, let's say in Aloha's case, Daniel, involved in that Zoom meeting? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's still going to be important that if I have a Zoom meeting, my objective is to go over the proposal and show the money. Go through the income calculator. That's really what I like to do, so they know what that's all about. I still schedule a meeting with Daniel. I want them to talk to the CEO of the company. If you're going to be a partner in profit, you know, it's important that you do speak and meet with the owner. And then, of course, how many of these are closing? So that, you know, track progress. It's the only way you're going to know whether you're doing the right activities. It's going to give you the right results. Specific goals. What do you want to do? Is it, how much do you want to make 10 grand a month? You want to make 20 grand a month? You have to stay on track. How many leads equals how many, you go right down the list: calls, contacts, proposals, Zoom meetings, closes. And it keeps you on track. But can't say it enough. It is generating the lead. I always like that when you can make adjustments, it's always about fix and refine. If you're not making adjustments, it's usually you're going off in the wrong direction. But be accountable. What does that mean? Have somebody else that you're accountable to. Is that your mentor? Is that your a co-broker? Is that somebody else to be accountable for your actions? I mean, that's great. You have to be accountable. It just keeps everything moving forward. Identify what you're good at. Everybody has strengths. Everybody has weaknesses. You focus on the strengths, and weaknesses is stuff that you realize, hey, you need work. There's something I can get better at. I can improve. And I say, lastly, don't hold back. Either you're all in or you're all in. I mean, what's the option, right? Are you all in? What does that mean? That means doing all the things that are necessary to be a $250,000 producer.